Per popular vote on our Discord server, I am now going to do a far more requested and popular meme guide than some silly top-tier jets. So, since everyone asked for it, I will now talk about everyone's favorite game mode in-game, and my favorite vehicle to play in it. Welcome to the mid-tier coastal naval April Fool's video, scrubs. The Project 12412 Molnia 2, NATO reporting name, POC class, is a unique and genuinely interesting coastal vessel at the top ranks of the Soviet coastal boat tree, and unironically, April Fool's video jokes aside, this is a hidden gem and a very fun boat to play, even for people who hate naval, just like me. So whether you're here just to laugh along the April Fool's video, or genuinely interested in trying out naval for once and looking where to start, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's talk about one of the most advanced boats in War Thunder. Project 12412 was a special project designation for an updated anti-submarine boat for not only the Soviet Navy, but also its export allies, based on a lighter version of the existing larger Project 1241 Molnia 1 corvette. NATO reporting name, Tarantul class. So to reduce weight and turn it into a faster anti-submarine vessel, the Tarantul had its anti-ship missile launchers removed, one of its Sea-Wiz stations removed, some armor removed, a few of its anti-ship sensors, radars, and E-Link suite removed, and most importantly, it got a bunch of new engines. But this is a grey area that War Thunder seriously fucked up, but we'll get to that in a bit. The Molnia 2 was quickly designated the POC class by NATO as it entered service in 1977, seeing service with not only the Soviet Navy and Coast Guard, but also with many export countries and the Soviet successor states, including the Ukrainian Sea Guard and Ukrainian Navy, India, Vietnam, Bulgaria, and Cuba, and the post-Soviet Russian Navy and the Russian Coast Guard. Fun fact, at least one of these guys is still in active combat today, with both the Ukrainian and the Russian Navy each, in a specific war. I mean, a 2-week special operation that lasted 2 years, for some reason that I can't talk about in great detail without getting demonetized. So yes, this is technically the only modern-day boat we have in War Thunder, as far as I'm aware. But enough about real life, that shit is boring. Let's talk about the Molnia 2 in-game now. The Molnia 2 is a peculiar and interesting boat in the Soviet tech tree, being available in both a premium and a tech tree variant, both found at 4.3 for some reason in the coastal vessel tech tree. At first they may seem like just any other boring coastal boat, but this is the definition of a multi-purpose boat, and it's very fun. Let me put it plainly, you have torpedoes, you have depth charges, you have mortar rockets, you have an auto-loaded 76mm automatic cannon that could spam HE downrange, or even better, spam proxy fuse HEVT shells from the 80s at planes a few kilometers away. And if aiming is too hard for you, then fret not, because you have a 1970s radar system with a gun lead indicator that does the aiming for you. Remember, this is at 4.3, so the worst thing you'll face is, I don't know, P-47s, Wyverns. Oh yeah, and if somehow you let an enemy get past the 76mm deleter, then fret not, because the most fun weapon on this boat is not the main gun, it's the secondary cannon. Say hello to my little friend, the A213 Vimpel-A Close-In Weapons Defense Suite, composed of an MR-123 fire control radar that can target incoming missiles, let alone big and slow World War II planes, and more importantly, the AK-630 weapon station. Those of you who watched my MiG-23 meme guide not long ago might remember me saying the following. You see, unlike the GAU-8 Avenger, which was not only built from the ground up, but then the A-10 was built from the ground up around that gun specifically, the Gasha was just an AK-630 Sea-Wiz from current Soviet battleships, quite literally hammered to the bottom of a MiG-23 with no proper recoil dampening or modifications. That's like taking a Phalanx and slapping it to the bottom of a Phantom and calling it a day.
Yeah, I see him on radar, 4 kilometers away. It's a big bomber of some sort. I'm gonna shoot warning shots. No, they're not gonna hit. It's just warning shots. I'm not expecting him to, like... What? Yeah, this is the AK-630, a 6-barrel rotary cannon that fills the air with 30mm APHE and HE at 5,000 rounds per minute. And with the radar lead aim, any plane that comes within 2.5 kilometers of your boat is going to be vaporized so hard that whatever remains of it will just be smeared across the nth dimension. Call this shit a Ukrainian Patriot sight, how it be shooting down anything that comes near it. Oh, and to top it all off, as if this wasn't enough, there is a surface-to-air missile system and a chaff dispenser in the back, but Gaijin did not model these correctly. The surface-to-air missiles are in X-ray view, but you can't use them in-game, probably for the better when it comes to balance. Now, this is the time where we talk about what's different between the premium and the tech tree version. So, yeah, Gaijin completely fucked up the designations for both, which made researching information about them a lot harder. But I'll spare you the trouble and put it this way. The premium is a prototype Molniya 2 with the bigger engines from the Molniya 1, so it's very slightly faster. That's literally it, and I spent a whole day digging for this info because Gaijin can't name vehicles correctly. Anyways, here is how you play Zelensky's holiday yacht. Rush the cap points, vaporize any lighter boats with your Rootin' Tootin' Putin 76mm HE slinger, and also vaporize any planes that spawn before they get to the battlefield using proxy HEVT and your radar that can detect them right when they spawn. If you do get up tier to face blue water destroyers, then utilize terrain to your advantage and get torpedoes and mortars off from behind cover, and don't confront the big boats directly, unless you want to roleplay the Russian Navy 2022 experience by promoting your sub-chaser to a submarine. Might as well put the Moskva in your lineup at that point. You have no armor, so you're often going to get one-shotted by anything larger than a 4.3 blue water ship, so I cannot stress this enough, but please plan your routes and use terrain to your advantage. Anyways, this is how you tickle the enemy's 1940s and 1950s boats and planes using your 1980s deleter. Or, alternatively, you can just not play naval, which I find to be a good idea too, but all jokes aside, the Soviet 4.3 naval lineup is a literal war crime with a bunch of good premiums, the SKR-7 squadron boat, and decent tech tree vehicles. And even a monkey with zero naval experience, like me, can do well in this lineup, so I definitely recommend trying it out because it's fun. Let's talk about modifications now. Start with damage control and then move on to the fire division so you don't end up like the Moskva. Then, get the proxy shell to clear the airspace of any Ukrainian drones or World War II planes that might be attacking you. Then, get improved rangefinder and primary armament targeting to further increase the lethality of your 76mm potato dispenser. Finally, for Tier 4, start with new pumps so your sub-chaser doesn't get upgraded into a submarine. Then, get engine maintenance and then go and work back on whatever you want. Or alternatively, just buy the premium version of the boat and skip the stock grind like the pay-to-win scrub lord that you are. Don't worry, I own both, so I won't shame you. And there you have it. That's how you play the POC class anti-submarine corvette in War Thunder. Yes, this is a bad April Fool's joke, and I'm not going to play naval otherwise. And I'm still cooking an actual meme guide with planes for later this month, which is going to be about the MiG-21, per popular request. So, until that comes out, go out there. Don't crash on takeoff. Don't run aground on spawn, and show those pesky World War II boats that the One Piece is real. See you next time.